Hey everyone, Reid Henrichs with Valor, and we're going to say Happy Constitution Day, but I also got another revelation. We're at literal war with people that want to destroy it. Let's go ahead and get started. Folks, it's September 17th. That means it's Constitution Day. On this day in 1787, our founders got out of the Constitutional Convention and it was the document that was ratified by the vast majority of the states during that time. It would eventually become our system of governance. That has been the case in this country since the late 1780s. And here we are in this country. We've got a document that's brought us all the way up to this point. But make no mistake about it, and I'm just going to call it for what it is. I don't know if many other people have said this or not, but I will say it with absolute confidence that we are at literal war. This is not a conventional war that is on the battlefield where armies are fighting each other. This is a war that has been in this country for a very, very, very long time. We could argue that it started right away, but it's certainly been telescopic in its belligerence and in its intensity. Here we are right now, 2021, and we've got a group of people in this country who for a very long time have sought to circumvent our Constitution, destroy our way of life. Why do I say this? Because the position of those in power, predominantly the Democrat Party, but certainly some of the Republicans as well, the necessary precondition for any part of their agenda is that we, the American people, every man, woman, and child, must surrender our time, money, or freedom in order to achieve their utopian goals. We've been brought to a point in which so many people in power, what their vision is, what their goal is for this nation, is so incompatible to the American Republic that to call it anything less than war would be irresponsible. We're facing a war that we've never been successful against this. We're facing a person or a group of people that every single component, every piece of information, every bit of propaganda, every proposed goal, whether it's budgetary, whether it's assault on the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, the 10th, no matter which part of the Bill of Rights, is so at odds with the foundation of this republic that to call it anything less is delusional. I would even be so bold as to call it, they want to bring about a theocracy, but not a theocracy of religion. They despise and mock religion in every aspect of it. They despise the First Amendment. I would call it the religion of the state, the religion of government, in which government is elevated against the individual. The Constitution is the opposite of that. The Constitution is a blueprint against government. The Constitution is a blueprint in favor of individual liberty. The Constitution, by its very essence, limits government. It limits the power of the state, especially at the federal level. We're at the point now where the collective is always glorified. The collective, the state, collective rights, as if there is such a thing. So why do these people rely on the collective so much? Well, I would say number one, they're weak. I would say they couldn't make it on their own. Anything that involves personal responsibility, anything that involves the individual, anything that involves an individual seeking to pursue their own happiness is dangerous to these people. Why? They're weak. They cannot do it on their own. They despise individual liberty. They despise individual decision making. They despise anybody pursuing happiness outside of government. When I hear things like fundamental transformation, fundamental change, why are they fundamentally seeking to change this country? Why are they fundamentally seeking to overthrow our government from within? Why is the news complicit in all of this? Why is every educational system out there poised to poison the minds of young people against the greatest country that's ever been in existence? The answer is when you fundamentally change something, that means you are absolutely reverse engineering what has worked. On this Constitution Day, we're looking at information. These young people are bombarded with incorrect information, propaganda that's designed to poison their mind. Now on this day, we have to declare what our rights are. If you're going to fight against something, first you have to state what your rights are. And in the United States of America, you have a fundamental right, an individual right against government. You have a fundamental and individual rights that your religion is respected, that your right to assemble is protected, your right to petition is respected, your right to have a free press corps is what it is. Your right to keep and bear arms. That's not a collective right. That's an individual right. The right of the people to keep and bear arms. We have a right to assemble with those firearms. We're fast approaching a government that is not representative, but coercive in all aspects of life. Give up your guns or you'll be punished. Don't assemble or you'll be punished. Don't go to church or you'll be punished. All of these things. Get a jab or be punished. If you don't own your own body, if you don't own what goes into your body, you own nothing. The supremacy of the state is not the goal of this constitutional republic. The supremacy of the individual is the aim and always was, according to our founders. You need to understand what your rights are. Your rights are God-given. Your rights are unalienable. Your rights are yours and yours alone. They're not the state's. Well, now we've declared what our rights are, how do we fix this? Number one, small groups, education. You as family members watching this, you need to educate your younger children. You need to educate your friends. First, we need to understand what those rights are. Those rights are individual liberty and limited government. That's what we're guaranteed. That's what a constitutional republic is. Secondly, we have to reject this paradigm that one group of Americans has to succeed at the expense of the other. That's not true. We're all free to pursue our own happiness. And if education and organizing into small groups doesn't work, the last step would be outright nullification at the state and local level of any unjust federal laws. But we may have to escalate that and push it forward into non-compliance. Non-compliance can come in the form of civil disobedience. Civil disobedience doesn't necessarily mean it's always nonviolent, does it? But I guess violence or nonviolence doesn't depend on us, the American people. That depends largely on the federal and even state governments in this country. Who are the real purveyors of violence? Is it people demanding their natural rights be respected? That our government rests on consent rather than coercion? Who is the one breaking that arrangement? Who's breaking the consent? Who's the one governing with violence? Now, on this Constitution Day, we need to prepare for a fight that's coming. And that fight may or may not be physical, but I can also tell you this, that it will always start with a Declaration of Rights. It will always start whether we understand whether this government is legitimate or illegitimate. Legitimate government governs by consent of the people. And when you don't have consent of the people, you're not a legit government. So take the time on this Constitution Day to reflect whether you know your rights, number one, and secondly, whether government respects those rights. And moving forward, we have to know that we in the American Republic, in this constitutional republic, we, the people, are the ones who are sovereign, not the state. If you found the information in this video helpful, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Facebook. That link is down below. And if you want to learn how to protect those rights, not only in the classroom, but out on the range, come on out to Valor Ridge and we can help you with that. This is Reid Henrichs with Valor Ridge reminding you, the lessons that we learn are written on the tombstones of others. We'll see you on the ridge.